You can haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Grab a seat, pour yourselves some whiskey neat. It's time to judge the shit out of these future releases by the movie trailers. We're trailer hits. This movie might totally suck, but the whiskey sure is going down fine. Yeah, we're trailer hits.
James, I'm going to need you to start this off because I feel like I've burned all of my Arrival puns the past 2 times we've talked about this.
Welcome to the I got nothing.
I'll wait.
Don't wait.
No.
Oh, this is horrible, though.
Dude, it's hard. You have to understand how hard it is to do my job.
We've arrived to people understanding how terrible I am at intros.
So anyway, this is our very first trailer in the Rearview section.
Yes, welcome, everyone. This is the trailer in the Rearview, or trailer hitch, trailer in the Rearview, Arrival.
Yes. Yeah.
By Kevin James.
We have a lot of colons today. We also have a lot of opinions to share with you on Arrival. If you listen to our most recent episode, we finally did a mini trailer in the Rearview.
Yeah, first one.
And we both said that the trailer, for the most part, sold Arrival well.
Absolutely.
But if you're listening to this, that means that you've actually seen Arrival and you want to know the nitty gritty.
Because we're
we really fucking think.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it, like spoilers and everything. So if you're listening to this and you have not seen Arrival
and care,
just pause.
Yeah. Come back.
Okay, we're back. They paused it and they went and saw Arrival. Now we're back.
Okay, good.
Now we can start talking to them about it.
I would have to assume that you're listening to this months later. I hope that cold you have is gone away.
I hope the cold you have goes away, Kevin.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit under the weather today. James, do you have any personal business to attend to?
No, I'm great. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling refreshed.
Just rub it the fuck.
Yeah, I'm feeling real good.
All right, cool.
Let's talk about Arrival.
Yes, let us talk about Arrival.
There are days that define your story beyond your life. Like the day they arrived.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it is.
You gave it a need to see?
I did.
I gave it a need to see?
Sound
the alarm!
You're witnessing history here, folks.
Okay. Alarm bell. So yes, that was the trailer for Arrival that we spliced in. That was also us getting really excited when we both decided that we needed to see it.
Yeah.
And God damn it, we saw it.
Yeah.
We got thoughts. We got opinions. So before we dive into what our actual reviews will be, we're going to get more in depth with the trailer review.
Yeah.
Talk about if we thought that it was sold well, and we can determine whether or not that you're in for what the trailer is selling.
Yeah.
If it's misselling it or if it is pretty much what you're getting.
Yeah.
So we're going to start out the gate by saying, kinda.
Yeah. I mean,
it's definitely a kind of... And here's the deal, folks, and if you're listening to this, then you know, this would have been a really fucking hard movie to market. It's... Because the movie is mostly just them hanging out in a room and trying to figure out what that fucking circle means. Or what that little tail on the end of that circle means.
Yeah.
That's the vast majority of the movie. And so I completely understand that you wouldn't want your trailer to just be Jeremy Renner squinting at a fucking JPEG on a huge screen trying to figure out what this language is. Totally get it. That said, and I think you'll agree with me, James, that the trailer is definitely I wouldn't say far more, but it's definitely more intense than what the movie itself is.
Yeah, it sells it more as a tension-driven, I don't want to say action. I didn't like watching the trailer.
It still sells it as a thriller. Which is true.
Yeah. I like the trailer doesn't sell it as like an action movie, which is good because it's not.
Right.
But just the tension, suspense, just looks like it is built to the nth degree.
Yeah. There are fucking explosions, and that's not even the end of the trailer.
Yeah.
Now you know that's literally the explosion. There is one explosion in the film.
There's one explosion.
You saw it in the goddamn trailer.
And it's utilized well. We talked about that briefly.
Yeah.
For the most part, for the trailer, I thought it sold it well enough. well enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be
not
good.
great. Definitely not bad. Like I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, this was a different movie than the trailer was
I didn't
telling
feel
me.
like I was gypped, except
for
the very last shot of the trailer is an overhead shot of some helicopters. They shoot rockets
Yeah.
off into the distance, and you don't
Yep.
see what they're shooting at.
And we made I made a big deal
I
about
concurred.
that
I
shot
concurred.
back when we reviewed this trailer, and how the whole trailer was building towards
Are they going
what-
to be able to figure out what they want?
exactly, are they going to be able to reach communication with these aliens before things go south?
Yeah.
And that shot is showing things go south in some way or form. It's mysterious about it, like it's vague about it, but that's showing military shooting at something.
Yeah.
So we know something went south there.
Yeah.
And I have a problem with that because the whole trailer builds towards this tension, and I think you can just cut it. You just literally cut right before those helicopters shooting.
You can cut to you can end on Amy Adams kind of going boom.
Yeah, and it's like you've accomplished everything you've needed to
Yeah.
for that movie.
Totally.
And that really pissed me off that shot was in it. Now,
I'm even more pissed.
Now.
I feel like I was at I don't know if that was really the right choice to include that in that trailer. You were like, fucking that shouldn't have been in
fuck
that
no.
trailer.
I have
And then now that we've seen it, I'm actually kind of upset that was in the trailer.
Yes.
And now you're fucking livid.
yeah. It's like
Because we spent the entire movie watching, thinking, okay, well, it's going to come to the helicopter shot, and obviously the Chinese in the movie are like, yo, get the fuck out of here. We're going to use military force against you. And so I was thinking the entire time, oh, well, we know how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, the Chinese are the first one, because like the movie starts with all these nations really kind of on the same page of we're all trying to communicate with these
there's
things.
that big screenshot of all those people speaking to each other, all those different nations.
And China's the first one
Sharing
to
information.
cut the ties with everyone else and be like, fuck this, we're going commando on this shit. I have a massive problem with trailers that give away something that is a natural build, would be a natural tension build in a movie, like that helicopter missile firing shot. I have an even bigger problem with trailers having shots in them that are not even in the movie at all, especially when they really, really matter.
Totally.
Like, I don't care that much if there's if you're
If there's a throwaway joke in a comedy trailer that isn't in the movie,
that's fine.
That doesn't
Whatever.
matter to me.
If it's a war movie and you see a very specific shot of your main character shooting a gun in a specific way, but then you're watching the war movie and he shoots it a lot of different ways, but not that one you saw in the trailer. Fuck off. Who cares? No one gives a shit about that kind of shit. But this is a tension-building movie about coming to peace with these aliens before things get out of hand. And in the trailer, you're showing things get out of hand already. Anyway.
I do agree with you. I do feel like it was a red herring. It was a misdirect.
Yes.
And, well, it worked, but why the fuck were you trying to misdirect me?
What about it worked, though?
It was because in my eyes, I saw the trailer, I saw the rockets go off, and I thought, well, shit, if they're willing to show that, I was giving the trailer credit and thinking, if they're showing these rockets going off, that means shit's going to get even more crazy once we get into the movie. And it didn't, because that first thing didn't even happen.
But I would have had a problem with that even if things got worse in the movie, because it's like you're already showing us it gets to that level of worse. Never mind. I feel like I've made my point, and you've agreed with me.
I do agree with you, but at the same time, I think that's where the story is going to go.
Totally.
We know that it's going to get tense, because it would get tense.
Totally.
And especially from a narrative standpoint, there has to be conflict.
All right.
And so I totally get where you're coming from. It didn't bother me as much, but loud and clear with you.
But like you said, we were both watching that movie with that shot.
Yeah, it was that specific shot that made me upset.
Like, we kept remembering it. Like or at least for me, every like 10 minutes in the movie, I was remembering, oh, right, that shot hasn't happened yet. Oh, right, that shot hasn't happened yet. Because you built your whole trailer to that shot.
Yeah.
So it's a bookend. Like, people are going to remember that. And the fact that it's not in it at all,
Yeah. Okay. So to move on, the thing that I thought, watching the trailer again, I realized, oh shit, that was actually a fairly big deal, was the fact that the gravity inside the pods was not what Earth's gravity was. Like,
yeah, it was all wonky.
Yeah, and that did get a little bit of screen time in the trailer, which I just did not fucking put two and two together, and was like, oh, hey, like, that's the shot where they're upside down is really brief.
Yeah.
It's like maybe a second. In the movie, they take 5 goddamn minutes to get into that pod for the first time.
Yeah, what I really like. Oh no, this is about the movie, not the trailer. Sorry, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
But yes, I think there were a lot of things in the trailer where after I saw the movie, I rewatched the trailer and I'm like, I totally didn't remember that.
Yeah,
I didn't remember that moment. You know, so that was really interesting.
Yeah.
It was all there.
Yeah,
but
with new context, it's like, oh no, that's now.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty significant chunk.
I think it's just there was so much going on in the trailer. In a good way. That trailer was very rich with what was happening in it, you know. I'm trying to think of any other things about the trailer specifically that I appreciated or liked.
Amy Adams' hair. I think we should move on.
Okay. When you get to Amy Adams' hair, it's time to move on.
As majestic as it is, you know you're stretching when you're bringing that up.
Perfect.
Okay,
Let's get into the movie.
But before we move on, should we give like a final rating on the trailer itself? Whether or not it sold it well, it could have sold it better, or it didn't sell it well at all.
Sure. At least for me, with all the gripes I had with it, at the end of the day, like what that movie was about and what that trailer was about, with the exception of that one fucking shot, I thought, what was that first one you said? Sorry, we didn't.
Sold it well.
We should write these down.
No, it's okay.
At least for me, that trailer sold that movie well.
Sure.
I would say I give that a passing grade.
Yeah, I will also give it it sold it well.
Yeah.
On the basis of, yes, I agree. Like, definitely the last shot was a misdirect, and the escalating tension. And I noted it in the actual episode where we did the mini version of this. Like, the score definitely builds into this big climactic clusterfuck.
Everything builds towards that shot.
Yeah, and, I definitely think that tonally that was a bit of a misdirect because it gets loud, for sure, but it doesn't get that loud, But ultimately, I think I'm willing to let it go because the movie itself obviously misdirects quite a bit, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess thematically it made sense for them to fuck us about.
I guess.
Yeah,
I don't whatever.
know. I like the trailer. That's all I'm getting at.
I did
you wanna
too.
talk about
I did
the
too.
movie?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right, let's get into it. Here is what we actually thought about Arrival. So now we're shooing our trailers. We're just getting into the nitty gritty. I'll start. Fuck this movie. No,
Okay.
You go ahead. You start.
I loved it. I got out of it, and it's a lot heavier than the trailer implies. Deeper, I think.
Yeah,
more,
I would agree.
More not psychological, but.
I mean, it's definitely sci-fi.
Yeah.
But it's not afraid of the science part of science.
No, not at all. And it's trippy. It's a little trippy, especially when you get to a certain part in it.
Well, you can say the specific part.
Should we?
Also.
I didn't know if I wanted to go in order of the movie, of like events early on versus events later.
Well, I mean, the order of events in the movie is also fucked up.
That's true.
So
it is.
Thematically, it's also relevant.
Okay, well then let's just come out and say it.
Yes.
The big spoiler for this film. Amy Adams' daughter, which we see in the trailer, we think she's a working stiff mom, and these aliens come, and the trailer pitches it as she's got to put her being a parent on hold to do this job of communicating with these aliens. That's kind of what the trailer's selling.
Yeah.
The movie makes you think that Amy Adams, when the beginning of the movie happens, Amy Adams
had a daughter.
The daughter has passed away, and now she's
very bummed about it.
She's very sad and just living her life.
Yes.
Then the aliens come.
Right.
So the big twist is that all the cutscenes of her with her daughter and voiceover about her talking about her daughter, all of that happens in the future.
Yes.
When after the aliens leave.
Yes. She has the kid with Jeremy Renner's character.
Yes.
Whom she obviously does not meet until the aliens are there.
Right, correct.
They don't, quote-unquote, fall in love until after the aliens leave.
Right.
So, from a structural standpoint, it is kind of over the map in terms of when certain events happen in the movie.
Sure.
And I think the movie did do a good job of, at the end, clarifying, no, this is what's going on, and then it made it clear that no, everything involving the daughter is after the fact.
And it wasn't just like one scene of, here, let me hand feed this to you, audience. They kind of peeled it back in layers.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of a...
I would say there's two rug pull moments. The first rug pull moment is when Amy Adams goes inside the pod, and she's like, sorry we blew up your friend, and the heptapod's like, meh. And then she's like, so, I mean, for real, they're going to kill you, what do you want? And they're like, we wanted to give you this language.
This gift, yeah.
And that gift, once you understand that gift, you can perceive time differently.
Yes.
Where you can see past, present, future.
Mm-hmm. It's the whole concept is the time is a flat circle concept.
Yeah. Thanks, True Detective.
Which... I'm not even going to go into True Detective because that's a whole other can of worms.
Well,
but time as a flat circle is a concept that I've always had a really difficult time understanding or grasping that concept. It's trippy, and I'm like, wait, that's future events. How could you possibly just have a memory of something in the future? That doesn't make sense.
You ain't never had deja vu, motherfucker? I got deja vu on the reg.
I always found that concept very difficult to grasp for myself. I guess I never really put too much thought into it anyway, because people try and talk about the concept, and I'm just like, that's above my head. I'm not gonna worry about it, whatever. And this movie kind of like really like brings it to the forefront, and like really throws a magnifying glass over it and be like, okay, you should understand this, because this is what the whole movie's about. And I'm like, okay, I will try
to understand or enjoy this.
Yeah.
In for
all right, Arrival, I will try to understand the time is a flat circle concept. So, like you said, they give this gift. It's the way these aliens think. That's their thought process, is they can see everything too. Which I have such a hard time understanding that still. But I think the film did a really good job of laying the groundwork for you, giving you the tools to understand it for someone who doesn't normally think about that. And not to bring up Matrix again, but but I'm gonna. So deal with it. At the end of the movie, I was, just like kind of trying to wrap my head around the time is a flat circle thing, and I'm like, but that's like, how are you making any decisions then? If you have a memory of something that you are going to do,
it takes power away from your choices.
It's like,
sure.
I just don't understand that.
That's something that I wanted a bit more clarity on. Is Amy Adams can see the future, zippity bam bam boom. Can she change it though? And I'll get into that a little bit more later, but that is definitely something that I had questions on.
Sure.
And I think would completely alter what we're talking about.
Yeah. And to say, I teased the audience, Kevin, that I was going to bring up Matrix again, and I didn't get around to it. So I got to do it. I got to do it real quick.
We love teasing you. We're
so
sorry.
I was having that hard time of understanding if you already know what's going to happen, how can you really make a choice about it? And that's really frustrating. And then I remembered the scene from Matrix Reloaded. Not that.
Oh my God, you're going into the sequel.
Not that it's any other good movie, but Neo meets with the Oracle, and she offers him a piece of candy, and he's like, you already know if I'm going to take this, right? Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, I wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't. And he's like, well, then how can I really make a choice? Her line that stuck with me is, you're not here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to understand why. Like why or how you make these choices. And that kind of made me think of Amy Adams. She has these visions, not visions, but memories of future events of her and her husband completely falling apart, Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
And her daughter having cancer or leukemia or something. And I think the film does a good job of explaining that Amy Adams tells Jeremy Renner that their daughter is going to die from cancer. And that's why their relationship falls apart, because Jeremy Renner can't handle that truth.
Yeah, and that was what I was going to bring up later, is there's a scene between Amy Adams and her daughter where at this point it seems as if they've already been separated, the twos of them, and she's explaining to her daughter why, and she says, your father said that I'd made the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Which, again, is what I was going to get into later, was sort of implying that she could have just said, I don't think we should have a kid. I think you and I should just be together.
Right.
We're going to be dinks, double income, no kids.
Or the choice is not telling Jeremy Renner.
That could be it, too.
Because then they would stay together, until...
But in theory, do you think he's able to see into the future?
No, I don't.
But he has studied the language as well, hasn't he?
He's a mathematician. I think they do a good job in showing his character as a math and numbers guy.
It's a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll.
Yeah, he doesn't really have the capacity to learn it maybe as quick as she did. Obviously, I think she does get into writing books about this and trying to teach the world how to think with this way.
There's a goddamn banner with the symbol.
Jeremy Renner strikes me as the type of guy who's too set in his own ways that's really going to learn how to rethink everything.
I can't imagine a person like that at all.
I'm like that. I'm totally like that. Oh, you were doing the thing.
That was
You're doing the thing. That was a sly at me.
Aside,
that's fine.
yes.
I like things the way they are, and nothing needs to change ever. That's fine. Anyway, it was an interesting just brain exercise for me.
Sure.
Coming out of this movie and thinking of the time as a flat circle thing, and thinking about the wise oracle's words from The Matrix Reloaded, the cinema classic, and just thinking about it that way. And I thought that was really interesting. But yeah. Anyway, time is a flat circle. So there you go.
Does that say what? So you did enjoy it, is basically.
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It's still a hard concept for me to grasp, though. It is super obscure. It's it's really out there.
It is.
It's supposed to be hard to understand.
Yeah, because it completely eschews how we perceive time.
How we think.
Yeah.
Completely,
Yeah.
It's really interesting, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally.
First of all, shout outs to one of the very few Aliens movies where they actually come in peace.
Yeah.
that was definitely a bit of a twist.
Absolutely.
It's sort of fucked up that we're at the point now where that is kind of a twist. Because we just now naturally assume, if we don't understand this, that means that it's coming to kill us.
Right.
And I really appreciated a movie that took a different approach to it, where it's like, maybe not, though.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be able to understand it. You have to meet it on their terms just as much as they have to meet you on your terms. But at the end of the day, no, everyone is just trying to figure out how to go on about their day the best they can.
Absolutely.
And these aliens are going on about their day to give us their language, and we are fucking terrified! Yeah. And I think the movie captured that really well. I think that the chaos that happens throughout the world with rioting, China eventually just going, fuck this, we should just shoot rockets at it. It's a very, very minor subplot, but the soldier who's like terrified and his wife is scared as shit, and he plants the bomb in an effort to try and get it away. I really liked all of that.
That was a really interesting subplot, right?
Yeah, it was.
I thought so, too.
And
you don't see this guy as a villain or anything. He's just someone who's terrified and he doesn't know what to do.
I did not hate the character.
Right,
I completely understood where he was coming from. I understood where his wife was coming from. I understand where the people fucking rioting are coming from.
And that's how you do a villain.
Exactly.
Not that he's a villain in this film, but...
Sure.
For films that do have villains,
humanity is the villain,
right? Totally, and just everyone take note. That's how you write a villain.
Yeah, exactly. And so I did. I really liked all of that. Overall, I liked the movie quite a bit. I have some reservations about it. It didn't deter my overall enjoyment of it. I would still recommend seeing it.
Yeah.
For me, and it's probably the biggest one, is Amy Adams' character. I felt that other than her and her daughter, there really wasn't that much there. Because that's all they're giving us throughout the entirety of the film. So you get that opening, we'll call it the up montage, where
I see where you're going
she has a family, and that family is torn apart.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really effective. I was all on board. And then for an hour to an hour 30 until we start to get it turns out I can see the past sort of shit. that's really all we're getting out of her.
Yeah.
It's her daughter, and she's good at language. And that's really about it. And I really wanted there to just be something else.
Personality quirks or something?
Some sort of personality quirk.
Sure.
to grasp
I
on.
can
And,
totally relate or agree with that.
And bear in mind, I've talked to other people about this because it's certainly with like the reviews trickling in, and we made it a point not to talk, but like I've talked to other people who love the movie.
That's true. This is the first time we're really talking about this movie.
And I've talked to other people because I'm like, I feel really fucking alone on this, and I was just trying to work it out with people.
No, I would agree
And,
with you.
Yeah, I would talk to...
Not that she's one note, but...
No, she isn't.
It's
but like, I would
missing
just,
something.
Yeah.
I totally
and
agree.
I was talking to someone else about it, and she was like, well, I think she was supposed to be a very lonely person, and she just sort of threw herself in her work, and I can understand that. I just don't know if visually that's quite as interesting.
Yeah.
And to really like draw my point together, I'm actually going to harken back to Denis Villeneuve, this director's previous film, which was
Sicario, which we both love endlessly.
God. Note for note, that movie's just bitchin'.
Yeah.
So in that film, it opens with Emily Blunt is a SWAT officer. She carries out a raid on a drug house. You see that she's very effective. You see that she's efficient. But then there are people on her squad that die during the raid, and you can definitely see that resonate with her. Mm-hmm. And then we have the scene where she gets more or less recruited into what turns out to be... Oh, spoiler for Sicario, I guess. Pause it now! She gets pulled into what turns out to be the CIA operation. Yep. But within those three scenes, so it's the raid, you see that she's really effective, you see that she's really goddamn good at what she does. Mm-hmm. But then when she's showering off and kind of coming down off of the bomb that explodes, you see that the deaths of her squad affected her. So you get that underneath that tough core, there is still a person there.
Yeah.
And then finally we round it out where Brolin is more or less interviewing her, and you get the, you know, she's divorced, she doesn't really have that much of a family, and she wants to do everything she can to stop this violence from happening that has now directly and personally affected her too.
Yeah.
I got every fucking thing I needed out of Emily Blunt's character, and I was along for the ride.
Sure.
And I felt like I was just missing some sort of element from Amy Adams' character.
And I will say it's probably a little trickier to do with the Amy Adams character with the way they structured this film.
Yeah, and it's also tricky, too, because once the aliens come, of course, like, no one's going to give a fuck about her college course. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and clearly no one did, because you get one scene where, you know, they immediately tell her to turn the TV on, and then you get one more scene where she shows up, and no one's fucking there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I understand that it would have been harder. And so it didn't necessarily need to be... I didn't need, for example, because Forrest Whitaker has some exposition where he says, oh, yeah, like, you know, you translated that
thing for us.
That thing for us.
Yeah.
And it, you know, saved the day.
And you were great.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily have to see that.
It was nice... Oh, you mean see that? But you were glad you heard it, though?
Yeah, like,
okay, I liked
that. Occurred that,
I
because
liked
otherwise
that
it'd be
moment.
like, well, why specifically Amy Adams? Okay, we have some exposition that covers.
But also, it was a good moment for her to explain to Forrest Whitaker why this is an entirely different thing. Mm-hmm. You can't just hear a recording of this.
Yeah,
this is not a language anyone knows. Exactly. So that was a cool moment.
Be it personal or professional, I really wish that there was something else there, specifically because as we were going forward through the story, we would get, and it at the time it felt random as fuck, just like these little flashes of Amy Adams and her kid, or some scene where Amy Adams and her kid interact in some way.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. And honestly, got like an hour 15 into the movie, I was annoyed as fuck by those, because they felt really random, and it didn't feel like it was helping the story. I felt like I'd gotten all of that information within that up montage at the beginning. Why the fuck are we showing this?
Yeah.
I don't care. Show me what's going on with these aliens. That guy just planted a fucking bomb! And I was more invested in that than what was going on in Amy Adams' character. So if like they had showed something else from her past, something from her future, and I understand as an audience, like there's some layers that you would have to jump through, but I just felt like I needed something else there.
Well, no, I agree with you.
To round her out as a person.
But like, you can't show flashbacks in the structure of a movie because you have intercuts of things that you're already trying to sell as flashbacks, but they're not. That's the twist. So it's like you can't have actual flashbacks before you even reveal that the flashbacks you're showing them are actually flash forwards. It's like, I get why you can't do those things, because you're going to confuse the hell out of a lot of people. But I agree with you that I think there could have been something more with Amy Adams. It's hard for me to put a finger on what exactly I want more, but a little something. Like Jeremy Renner had quirks to him. It just made
absolutely.
him interesting to watch. And I'm not saying she needed to be, funny like Jeremy. No. I thought Jeremy Renner was pretty funny.
I thought he was charming,
I'm not saying she needs to be like that, but there's a whole other spectrum of personality traits that you could give her other than devoted to my work and obsessed with my work.
Yes. Now, once we get the reveal that Amy Adams' daughter isn't born yet, I felt like I had some sort of understanding of, she's really guarded because she knows she's going to have a daughter and her daughter's going to die and it's going to fucking destroy her.
Yeah.
And so she's guarded because of that. She's having an existential crisis. However, if you're going by the chronology of the movie, she doesn't understand that until after she starts to learn the language. She can't perceive time that way until she hits that point.
Yes.
So all that shit with her in, like, the helicopter and everything up until that first point of contact and she gets the language, she doesn't have that excuse as a character.
Right. It's just bland.
Yes.
Then.
And
because you're right. You have to take all those quote unquote flashbacks away and look at this character as she's presented then. Because those aren't actually flashbacks, and she's kind of bland a little bit. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, and like bear in mind, like it's not just her. Like Forrest Whitaker is definitely. I don't know if I would go as far as to say one note or one-sided, but he's definitely like the gruff fucking military guy who's like, your ass has got to figure this out in 2 days.
Yeah,
and that's that. Like there's definitely some character stuff there that I'm not that crazy about. But I think for the most part, as a story, I definitely think the movie succeeds. Because once the rug pull comes and we get that, she can perceive time differently. But especially when it's, your daughter wasn't even born yet, and Jeremy Renner's the guy you're going to have the kid with, I definitely sat back a sec and thought, okay, yeah. And, like, it definitely made me leave the movie on a high.
Yeah.
But... I thought that it held the movie back a little bit. It kept me from loving it.
I gotcha.
And my last little nitpicky thing, do you think it was really fucking convenient when she has the flash forward into the ball or gala or whatever, and the Chinese guy is like, I'm so glad you called me on this phone number, and he holds his fucking phone up long enough for her to get the goddamn phone number.
Yeah.
And then makes it a point to whisper the fucking thing into his ear. Or into her ear, I should say. From a narrative standpoint, that's a little bit contrived.
Now, I have one last nitpick thing, too.
Go for it.
All right. I understand that you can't show Jeremy Renner in the hospital bed scene when the daughter is dying because you haven't revealed this is in the future yet and that Jeremy Renner is the father.
Sure.
But I'm sorry, unless Jeremy Renner is dead... he would have been there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how terrible of a marriage they had or how badly it ended. They both would have been there for their daughter dying, and I do not accept that he was not.
Yeah. There's nothing in his character that would say he'd abandoned.
No, they actually showed him with the daughter in a couple scenes, and he is like Father of the Year type loving dad, like how his character lets on he would be. And he doesn't even have a job that, unless another batch of aliens came to the planet and he needed an emergency to stop an invasion, he's a mathematician or a scientist or whatever. It's like he's not in an emergency career. He would be there for his daughter on her deathbed. And I had a big problem with that. At the time, you don't, because it's like, oh no, this is so sad. We don't know where the dad is. That ended badly, but whatever. And then you find out it's Jeremy Renner, and you're like, he would have fucking been there. Sorry, he would have been there. And I have a big problem with that. And I understand you can't show him because you're ruining the reveal then. I don't know what you do then. Maybe don't have that scene in the movie.
Yeah. And just because I was dumping on it a bit, I'll compliment Shower it a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
I did.
I feel like I'm dumping on it.
For the most part, I liked the movie, and I liked that the mystery was how do we communicate, and I felt that did a good job of examining how we communicate as people too. I think thematically, for the most part, this thing is strong as hell.
It's so important. I think it's an important movie to watch. It's a different way to look at how we think we understand everything.
Yeah,
and we just don't.
No.
Especially in the political climate we're in, people on the left and right side who speak the same fucking language, and we still have troubles understanding each other. And I think a movie like this was just such a refreshing way to look at how important it is to, at the fundamental level, we need to understand what we're saying. Like, words sometimes mean nothing. It's the meaning behind them that means everything. Like she said in the trailer, like, they need to know if we're talking about a tool or a weapon, because they can be the same thing, and it's fucking messy.
Yep.
So I thought it was an important movie to watch. And
Yeah,
I thought it was really great.
I definitely thought the timing was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a well-timed movie to come out, and hopefully people learn from it, and that's
Just everyone. Everyone learn from this movie. Communication is key.
Yeah. Communication.
Communication, people.
Let's
just talk to each other.
Yeah.
We're all on the same team.
I felt like we communicated what we thought very effectively.
I think so too. I think this went pretty well.
I do as well. Before we go, we're presupposing that you guys have seen the movie, so we're going to be changing our scales because you don't need to see more. You don't need to see it, or anything like that.
You've already been suckered in.
Yeah, we already convinced you.
You've seen it.
So we're grading this on a scale of glad I saw it, should have waited, or shouldn't have seen it. And I will start. I am glad I saw it, and I would definitely recommend it. I think that it is a very good movie, despite not huge flaws, but, the ones that are there, but I'm able to look past them and recognize that there was a pretty good movie there.
Yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of it, man, and I don't think anyone listening to this review would go, oh, these guys wish they didn't see it. I think we've been pretty, as much as we were harping on it at points, I think it's pretty clear we really enjoyed this movie. So, for me, definitely glad I saw it.
All right.
Glad I saw it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is our first trailer in the rear view.
Yeah.
Should we let them in on what the acronym is? How unfortunate.
Yes, please, because it's hilarious.
So, I was releasing our 8th episode earlier, and I was going to put trailer in the rear view Arrival because we did a little mini one in the 8th episode. And was like, I should use an acronym for trailer in the rear view because it's super long, yeah? And ladies and gentlemen, if you are to do it on your own right now, I'll give you a sec. That's correct. It is TIT-RV.
TIT-RV.
It is uppercase T, lowercase I, lowercase t, capital R, capital V, which surprisingly fitting for Trailer Hitch that we have TIT-RV. This RV is the tits.
Just think of it as driving your RV down the highway and someone flashing you.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, this is us flashing and saying that we enjoyed. Fuck it.
It's whatever.
Not important. So yes, this was our first tit RV.
This was our first tit RV. Trailer in the rear view.
And there are going to be more to come.
Yes.
James and I were able to see The Ring versus The Grudge. So this is not the last time you will hear this.
So keep an ear out.
Keep an ear out.
Keep those ears peeled. Do you peel ears? Or just peel eyes?
Sounds really.
You just peel eyes, right?
I feel like peeling eyes is even.
You shouldn't peel anything. Just keep a lookout.
Onions, maybe an apple.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
listen up,
get that
people.
Fucking razor away from me in my head.
Yeah. Just keep an eye out on our iTunes or WordPress or.
Yes.
What's the other one?
There are two.
Well, no, there was the one that people on Droid. Stitcher. Yeah. Keep an eye out for any other bonus trailer in the rear view episodes in the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Please do. But until then, you are going to get another episode coming up in just a week, where we will talk more trailers. We'll see if more tit RVs are in our future. I have not learned the language of Arrival, so I don't know how many we have coming, but Hopefully it's many.
That was really
And
good.
Hopefully you guys stick around.
That was clever.
But don't stick around now because we're fucking leaving.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we'll cap it there.
Yeah,
Bye.
good.
Thank you so much for listening.
Bye, guys.
You can't mend holy sails without a sailor stitch, and you can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch.